a criminal group stopping the convoy of the very likely next president of Mexico and making demands on camera with media present is something that talks about the increasing brazenness of criminal groups that are very, very aware of the kind of power they have construed.
Claudia Sheinbaum was once stopped by members of the Sinaloa drug cartel while on a drive to a local rally. This harrowing encounter raises a compelling question. Is she afraid of the cartels, or is she resolutely determined to bring them down once and for all?
The events of Sunday could be seen as an example of how criminal groups in the region seek to influence and manipulate Mexican politicians.
As the newly elected president of Mexico, Claudia Sheinbaum faces one of the toughest challenges any leader can confront: dismantling the powerful and violent drug cartels that have plagued Mexico for decades. Her bold stance against these powerful criminal organizations signals a potential shift in strategy from previous administrations, bringing both hope and uncertainty. How will Sheinbaum's presidency shape Mexico's future, and can she succeed where others have failed? Join us as we unpack the strategies, reactions, and risks surrounding Mexico's fight against drug cartels under its first woman president.
I'm grateful because for the first time in the 200 years of our republic, I will be Mexico's first female president.
Claudia Sheinbaum Pardo was born on June 24, 1962, in Mexico City. She comes from a family deeply rooted in the academic and scientific community. Sheinbaum's political career began in earnest in the early 2000s when she became an advisor to then Mexico City Mayor Andrés Manuel López Obrador. Her rise to the presidency was marked by her tenure as the head of government of Mexico City, a position she held from 2018 to 2024. During this time, Sheinbaum implemented significant policies aimed at reducing crime, improving public transportation, and addressing environmental issues. Her success in these areas, combined with her strong alignment with AMLO's Morena Party, positioned her as a leading candidate for the presidency. In the 2024 elections, Sheinbaum made history by becoming the first woman elected as president of Mexico.
I congratulate all Mexicans because today we showed that our country is a democratic one with peaceful elections.
Within Mexico, the impact of the drug cartels is devastating. Entire communities live under the constant threat of violence. The human toll is immense, with thousands of lives lost each year due to drug-related violence. Families are torn apart, and trust in public institutions is eroded as officials are either intimidated or bribed into compliance. The significance of Sheinbaum's election cannot be overstated. As the first woman to hold the office of president in Mexico, her victory is a historic milestone in the nation's political landscape. It represents a significant step forward for gender equality and sets a hope for future female leaders in Latin America and beyond. Her presidency also reflects the public's desire for change, a break from the past policies that have struggled to contain the influence of drug cartels. Public sentiment surrounding her election has been largely positive, particularly among voters seeking change from the status quo. Many see Sheinbaum as a leader who can bring fresh perspectives and solutions to the country's pressing issues. According to a report from Cartels, voters on the border and across Mexico are optimistic about her potential to address corruption, crime, and economic disparity. The public's expectations are high, with many hoping that Sheinbaum's administration will deliver on promises of reform and progress. Claudia Sheinbaum has a different plan to deal with the powerful drug gangs in Mexico. Instead of just using the military or doing nothing, she wants to tackle the reasons why these gangs are so strong. She believes that poverty, lack of opportunities, and corruption are the main things keeping these gangs going. She wants to focus on making communities stronger and giving people better chances in life. She knows that just fighting the gangs with force hasn't worked before, so she suggests a mix of things like helping the economy grow, improving education, and making the police better. By fixing these bigger problems, she thinks it will be harder for the gangs to stay powerful. This way of thinking is different from what past leaders have tried, making her stand out. Sheinbaum's strategy focuses on two main areas: economic development and social programs, and strengthening law enforcement. She believes poverty and lack of opportunities lead to crime, so she plans to invest heavily in programs that lift people out of poverty. This includes creating jobs, improving education, and providing vocational training, especially for vulnerable youth who might be recruited by cartels. In terms of law enforcement, Sheinbaum aims to tackle corruption and inefficiency. Her plan involves better training for police officers, higher wages to reduce bribery, and stricter accountability measures. She wants to build a professional and trustworthy police force that can effectively combat cartels. Additionally, community engagement and prevention programs are crucial in Sheinbaum's approach. She emphasizes community-based efforts to prevent crime, such as neighborhood watch programs and youth outreach initiatives. Strengthening communities and creating local support networks can help resist cartel influence and violence. Sheinbaum's strategy includes judicial and penal reforms. She wants to improve the judiciary for fair trials and expedite judicial processes to deter criminal activity. She also aims to reform the penal system to reduce overcrowding and focus on rehabilitation to prevent further criminality. Sheinbaum's approach stands out from previous leaders in a few ways. Sheinbaum avoids the heavy-handed military tactics employed by Felipe Calderon. While these tactics initially saw a decline in cartel activity, they ultimately led to a surge in violence and civilian casualties without significantly weakening the cartels. Sheinbaum appears to be seeking a less militaristic approach. Unlike Enrique Peña Nieto, whose administration often seemed unclear on its strategy, Sheinbaum has, so far, presented a more defined plan. This could inspire greater public confidence and improve cooperation between law enforcement agencies.
President-elect Sheinbaum has vowed to continue with the security policy of President López Obrador, which is focused on essentially hugs and not bullets, which is to find ways to prevent violence, social programs, education programs. But at the same time, there is going to be a real focus and a real need for the president-elect to be able to extend even beyond some of the policies of the current president, because we've seen homicide rates continue to increase in Mexico.
Andrés Manuel López Obrador, the president since 2018, introduced the Hugs, Not Bullets policy, which focuses on social development instead of fighting cartels directly. While well-meaning, many felt this approach was too soft and didn't do enough to stop the cartel's violence. Sheinbaum seeks a middle ground. She keeps AMLO's focus on social programs, but adds stronger law enforcement to hold criminal groups accountable. Her plan is to tackle the root causes of crime while ensuring that criminal actions face consequences. Instead, Sheinbaum blends strong social programs with tough law enforcement reforms. Her plan aims to tackle both the symptoms and the root causes of cartel influence, striking a balance between the two.
Felicito a todas y a todos los mexicanos que el día de hoy, con su participación, demostramos que México es un país democrático con elecciones pacíficas.
Implementing Sheinbaum's big plan has many tough parts. One big problem is the deep corruption in law enforcement and government. Cartel influence has made bribery and coercion common. Sheinbaum wants to fix this by having independent groups oversee things and making investigations clear. Paying law officers more also helps stop bribes. People don't trust the government to fight cartels well because of past violence and weak policies. Sheinbaum needs to gain people's trust. She plans to involve communities in fighting crime and improve living conditions with money and social programs. Being open about what the government does and sharing goals and progress also helps win trust. Cartels won't sit back if Sheinbaum attacks them. They might fight back with more violence and target officials and regular people. Sheinbaum plans to protect officials better and have communities ready to defend themselves. Working with other countries to cut off cartel support can weaken their power to fight back. Doing all this needs a lot of money and trained people. Sheinbaum needs to get enough funds and staff to make her plans work long-term. Prioritizing spending on key parts like law enforcement and social programs is key. She also wants help from other countries and businesses. Getting support from lawmakers is crucial, but it's tricky in Mexico's political scene. Sheinbaum needs to work with different groups and convince them her ideas are good. Showing that most people back her anti-cartel plans can help change laws to support her ideas. Sheinbaum's plan against cartels is big and has many parts: growing the economy, helping people, changing laws, involving communities, fixing courts, and working with other countries. It's a big challenge, but with good plans and everyone's support, her team can make a big difference. Her strategies will be closely watched to see if new ideas can fight a big criminal problem like cartels.
Domestic security, especially drugs-related violence, is the biggest problem in the president's in-tray.
Following Claudia Sheinbaum's election as Mexico's new president, different drug cartels are reacting in different ways to her proposed strategies and policies. The Sinaloa cartel, which has been very powerful in Mexico, seems quiet since Sheinbaum's election. They might be waiting to see what Sheinbaum does before making big moves. They could be watching to see how her policies affect their business. On the other hand, smaller and more unpredictable cartels, like the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, CJNG, are getting more aggressive and fighting over territories. They might see Sheinbaum's presidency as a chance to grow or take over areas where law enforcement is weak or changing. These different reactions show that cartels understand politics and risks well. Cartels, like Sinaloa, which have been around a long time, might wait and see. They won't start big fights until they understand Sheinbaum's plans better. But more aggressive cartels might use the change in leadership to do more crime. They might be violent, sell more drugs, or attack officials to show they're in charge. Experts also think cartels might change how they work because of Sheinbaum's policies. They might commit more crimes, like human trafficking or cybercrime. They might also find ways to use weak spots in law enforcement or borders to do more illegal things. Looking into the future, it's likely that drug cartels will keep changing because of Sheinbaum's presidency and the efforts to fight crime. Cartels might make friends with other criminals to get stronger and reach more places. They could start using more technology to hide from police and do illegal things without getting caught. Cartels might start doing crime in other countries, using their connections and taking advantage of weak cooperation between countries' police. They might keep scaring government workers, police, journalists, and leaders to control what people think. Also, they might do different crimes, not just selling drugs, like moving money illegally, hacking, and smuggling weapons. How much Sheinbaum's presidency affects cartels will depend on how well her team fights them, how police work together, if other countries help, and if communities can stay strong against cartels. Watching and changing their plans to fight cartels will be super important for a long-term fix in Mexico.
We have reduced the violence in the city in around 45% in 3 years.
When Claudia Sheinbaum's plan succeeds in reducing cartel influence and violence, it can bring good changes to Mexico's economy. Imagine if there were fewer crimes and less fear from cartels. People would feel safer to invest money and start businesses. This trust and confidence lead to more jobs, better incomes, and a stronger economy overall. Investors, both from Mexico and other countries, would see Mexico as a safer place to put their money. They might build factories, offices, or start new projects that create even more jobs. This growth in business and investment boosts Mexico's economy and helps people live better lives. Reducing cartel power also means less corruption and more transparency. When officials aren't bribed or controlled by cartels, they can focus on making fair decisions that benefit everyone. This fairness and honesty attract more businesses and investors, further boosting Mexico's economic growth.
First, to go through the causes, to rescue the young people. We have built 2 universities in Mexico City, public universities, in these 3 years.
Claudia Sheinbaum's government has rolled out several public engagement initiatives to rally support for the anti-cartel strategy. These initiatives aim to involve people from all walks of life in the fight against drug cartels, making it a collective effort. One such initiative is the launch of awareness campaigns across Mexico. These campaigns use various platforms like television, radio, social media, and community events to educate people about the dangers of drug cartels. They highlight the impact of cartel activities on communities, families, and individuals, creating awareness and encouraging people to stand against criminal activities. Additionally, Sheinbaum's government has organized town hall meetings and community forums. These gatherings provide a platform for citizens to voice their concerns, share ideas, and contribute to the development of anti-cartel strategies. It's a way for people to actively participate in shaping policies and actions that affect their safety and well-being.
We will govern for everyone, men and women, but we will first take care of the poor.
Furthermore, there are outreach programs targeting vulnerable groups such as youth. These programs offer support, guidance, and alternatives to those at risk of being lured into cartel activities. By empowering these individuals with education, job opportunities, and positive influences, Sheinbaum's administration aims to prevent cartel recruitment and strengthen community resilience. Overall, these public engagement initiatives foster a sense of unity and collective responsibility in the fight against drug cartels. They encourage people to take a stand, report suspicious activities, and support law enforcement efforts. Through active involvement and collaboration, communities become stronger and more resistant to cartel influence, contributing to a safer and more secure Mexico.
This election is going to be stained by death and violence, with dozens of candidates and aspiring candidates assassinated during the elections.
Mexico's history has seen political violence and targeted attacks against politicians who stood against drug cartels. These events serve as strong reminders of the dangers faced by leaders challenging organized crime. One significant case is the assassination of Luis Donaldo Colosio, a PRI presidential candidate, in 1994. His murder shocked Mexico and deeply impacted its politics. The circumstances, including suspicions of cartel involvement, showed the risks of challenging powerful criminal networks. Similarly, Rodolfo Torre Cantú, a Tamaulipas gubernatorial candidate, was assassinated in 2010, highlighting cartels' readiness to use violence for political influence and intimidation. These incidents have shaped Mexico's politics, influencing policies, election strategies, and security measures taken by politicians at all levels. As Mexico's first woman president who supports big changes, Claudia Sheinbaum faces dangers from drug cartels and criminals. They might threaten her or use violence to stop her from fighting them. They could also try to bribe or control government workers, like the police, to make her job harder. There's a real risk that someone might try to hurt Sheinbaum or important people in her team. Considering Mexico's history of political violence, she needs tight security to stay safe. Sheinbaum's actions against cartels might not be liked by everyone. Some people might protest or criticize her, causing problems. She needs to handle how people see her and communicate well to deal with these challenges.
It could be, in fact, the largest percentage of votes that any candidate has had in recent history in Mexico, including López Obrador himself, an extremely popular president, but it appears that Claudia Sheinbaum has even beat him.
Claudia Sheinbaum's rise to Mexico's presidency stirred up diverse reactions among Mexican politicians. Supporters of her plan praise the all-encompassing approach she advocates, highlighting the urgent need to address the root causes of cartel power, like poverty and corruption. They argue that this thorough strategy is more modern and sustainable compared to just relying on military tactics. Miguel Ángel Osorio Chong is one notable supporter who appreciates Sheinbaum's focus on community involvement and social programs. He believes that empowering local communities to resist cartels is crucial for long-term success against organized crime. However, not all politicians are entirely convinced of Sheinbaum's strategy. Some express doubts and criticism, especially about finding the right balance between social programs and law enforcement actions. Senator José Antonio Álvarez Lima, for example, worries about potential risks if law enforcement takes a softer approach, fearing that cartels might see it as a weakness and exploit it. Internationally, Claudia Sheinbaum's approach to combating drug issues has sparked interest and varying opinions from experts and politicians worldwide. Many international experts praise Sheinbaum's focus on social programs and involving communities, drawing parallels with successful strategies from other countries. Similarly, experts from the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, UNODC, point to successful anti-drug efforts in countries like Colombia and Portugal, where a mix of law enforcement and social programs has worked well. They view Sheinbaum's plan as a positive step and stress the importance of addressing social issues alongside enforcement. Despite these positive comparisons, some experts urge caution. They highlight Mexico's unique challenges, such as deep-rooted corruption, powerful cartels, and complex politics. Dr. Carlos Lopez from Spain warns that while social programs are crucial, they must be coupled with strong law enforcement to combat organized crime effectively. He emphasizes the complexities of the drug trade and the need for a comprehensive approach, tackling both supply and demand factors. These experts advise against overly optimistic comparisons with other countries and emphasize the importance of tailored solutions for Mexico's specific context. Claudia Sheinbaum's presidency and her anti-cartel plan have stirred up various feelings among the Mexican public. Many people are hopeful and optimistic about Sheinbaum's presidency, especially her focus on social programs and community involvement. They see this as a chance to tackle problems like violence, corruption, and inequality. According to a recent poll by Instituto Nacional de Estadística y Geografía, INEGI, 67% of respondents support Sheinbaum's anti-drug strategy because they believe in addressing root causes and involving communities in fighting cartels. According to a report from KTEP, Mexican voters, especially those on the border, are ready for a change and are optimistic about having a woman lead the country. They have high expectations for Claudia Sheinbaum's presidency, particularly in addressing corruption, crime, and economic disparity. The public sees her as a leader capable of bringing fresh perspectives and solutions to long-standing issues. The article, titled "Mexican Voters on the Border Ready for a Woman to Lead the Country," highlights the sentiment among many Mexican voters, particularly those near the U.S. border, that a change is needed. After 24 years of male presidents from alternating parties, voters like Jesus Avila are looking for a new direction. Avila, a small business employee in Ciudad Juarez, believes a woman can bring positive change to the country. Sheinbaum's campaign promises to continue existing social programs. Polls conducted by Puente News Collaborative, an El Paso-based news organization, show her with a significant lead over her opponents. Despite the support, some people are worried and doubtful about Sheinbaum's approach. Critics are concerned about the risks and challenges, especially dealing with powerful cartels and deep-rooted criminal networks. They think strong law enforcement measures are crucial alongside social initiatives for the plan to work effectively. Mexican media outlets have been quite active in covering Claudia Sheinbaum's presidency and her anti-cartel strategy, offering a mix of perspectives and analysis. Many articles and news segments applaud Sheinbaum's dedication to addressing crime and improving security. They depict her as a strong leader, ready to take bold actions to tackle Mexico's challenges. These reports highlight the potential of her comprehensive approach to bring positive changes and reduce cartel influence. Major newspapers like El Universal and Reforma have published supportive editorials praising Sheinbaum's focus on social programs and community engagement. However, there are also critical voices in the media. Some outlets question the feasibility and effectiveness of Sheinbaum's plan, pointing out potential pitfalls like cartels exploiting law enforcement weaknesses or challenges in implementing large-scale social programs. Columnists and commentators in publications such as Excelsior and Milenio offer nuanced critiques, urging a balanced approach between social initiatives and law enforcement, and stressing the importance of accountability and transparency. Internationally, media coverage varies. Some outlets abroad applaud Sheinbaum's progressive approach and see it as a positive development for Mexico and the region. They emphasize the need to address root causes and involve communities in crime prevention. However, there are also cautious voices urging vigilance and international cooperation, emphasizing the complexities of combating organized crime.
One of the things that she said in her speech, which I found very noteworthy, is that she will fight against corruption and against authoritarianism, as well as, of course, the violence that is endemic in this country and that is running rampant. The number of people who are murdered every day is extraordinary. The number of people that go missing, that disappear.
In the best-case scenario, Claudia Sheinbaum's anti-cartel strategy would lead to a significant reduction in cartel influence, violence, and drug-related crimes. Social programs and community engagement would effectively address root causes, empowering communities to resist cartel influence. Stronger law enforcement measures would dismantle key trafficking networks, with international cooperation supporting a holistic approach. Conversely, worst-case scenarios could see cartels adapting and exploiting weaknesses in enforcement and social programs. Escalating violence, corruption, and lack of public support might hinder progress. International factors, like shifting drug routes, could complicate efforts. The long-term implications depend on policy implementation, public support, and cartel responses. Success could set a model for other countries, improving security and social cohesion. Failure may perpetuate violence and corruption, undermining progress. The battle against cartels is a continuous struggle that demands creative tactics. Claudia Sheinbaum's presidency marks a crucial juncture for Mexico. Her election brings hope to many, hinting at possible advancements in the fight against drug cartels. The global community anxiously observes to see if she can accomplish what others couldn't. Her outcomes will not just define Mexico's path forward, but will also impact regions far and wide. So, what's your take on Claudia Sheinbaum's grand plan to take on the drug cartels in Mexico? Do you think she's got the secret sauce? Or is it all just a spicy mess waiting to unfold? Share your thoughts in the comments below and join the conversation. If you found this discussion valuable, don't forget to hit the like button, share this video with others who may be interested, and subscribe to our channel for more insightful content. Until then, stay safe.